You're listening to the Super League Pod, coming up on episode 131 of your favourite rugby league podcast. We take a lingering look at my back end. We've got all your feedback and shout-outs, news from around the world of rugby league. We thoroughly review round 2 of Super League. We learn a little bit more than we perhaps wanted to about the quirkier lifetime habits of Tyler Casfan. We look forward to round 3 of Super League, and of course I get smashed all over in the weekly trivia quiz. So strap yourselves in, kids. It's time for your podcast, the Super League Pod. So, hello everyone. Welcome to your 131st Super League Pod. Some of us are a bit sore this evening, but we're here as always to bring you all the news and views and reviews and everything you come to expect from your favourite rugby league podcast. And as always, Wigan fan Mark joins me in the podcast studio to cast his weather eye over the sport as well. How's things with you, Mark?
I'm okay. I think the focus should be on you, Tom. How's the posterior?
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's some better days. For those of you who aren't in the know, yesterday was the 200 kilometre cycle, part of the money raising efforts we put in over the last year for Wet Refuge. Did that Sunday.
I'm very proud of you. You did very well. One thing you didn't do at all was send out any links whatsoever to your Just Giving page.
I was very busy. I was trying to keep it all going. I was sweating my bollocks off. My arse was getting progressively redder and rawer as the day went on. Like, at one point, like the first, I'll talk you through. So I broke it down into 3 stages, basically. I worked out that it's 124.3 or 124.2 miles is 200k. So I broke it down into chunks of like 41.4 miles. So I did it in 3 stages like that. And the first lot, I started about 8:15. I was feeling okay at the end of it. I thought, well, all right, a bit tired in the old legs, but I'll power through this. And I got off the bike, I had a walk round, and I had a petit filou actually, just to keep myself going. I got back on the bike, and immediately my arse went, nope, not anymore. Don't want to do this. So I was like, right, well, I'll power. Maybe it's like, powering through, and the blood will get going, and I'll get used to it, and it'll go. And my arse went, nope, still hurts, Tom. So I was like looking around for ways to kind of ease my pain, and at one point, halfway through what we'll call the mid-morning session, I thought I'm going to have to do something. So I hopped off and grabbed a tea towel from the kitchen and folded it into such a position, into such a way that it sort of sat over what we'll call basically the part of the bike seat that would go right up in me. Okay. The very seat part, okay. The very part of the front, and that was okay. We were all right, and that got me through. But things got worse and worse, and by about an hour into the last part of the afternoon, I had a cushion off the couch on it, and I'd never known comfort like it at that point. I was in so much pain, but got through it and did it, and got some support from people like particularly Darren and Dr. Bob through the day, and yourself cheering us on, and other people tweeting in as well. I tried to keep on top of Twitter as much as I could do to show people that I was on it, and I think it's pretty obvious that I was legitimately cracking on. My dad did point out to me like, well, could you not just take photos of yourself and make it look like... I was like, I don't think I've got the wherewithal to create that.
Well, I did wonder if your 3 stages were just photos from the first go around.
Well, no, because what I made sure was that there were bits of TV on in the background that people could use to check, and also that there was like legitimately different times and things. So it was all kind of staggered out. So if you were so inclined to think that I'd staged it like a moon landing or something, then you could fact check it. But no, it was legitimately very difficult and very rewarding at the same time. I treated myself to a couple of bottles of Corona last night just to celebrate. And
well, you deserved it. It was a sterling effort.
And recover, but it was good.
You're in better shape than I was expecting you to be in today. If I'm honest, what do people need to do, Tom, if they want to support your efforts?
Well, we need to find new things to do for this charity, so we'll continue that through the year. But if you want to hop on to justgiving.com/Super League Pod stands up, That's how you can donate, and there's a bit of a blurb in there about what got us into supporting Refuge in the first place. And I think it's something I'd like to continue doing over the coming year as well, with another few 10k. So I'll keep that page going, and we can plug it as time goes on. And I know my brother-in-law Mike wants to do to help out with some money raising as well. He does a lot for charity up in Fleetwood and things, so he's probably going to hop in on it as well. And of course, I'll invite you to join us rather than morally obligate you. But
I'm not doing that thing where I have to run through
I'm not doing that.
Electricity and puddles and mud and that.
Mike has got a right chip on his shoulder, being from Fleetwood, right, about coming down to Lytham and doing stuff. And he was on about doing a, don't ask me why, but I think he thinks it's funny. But he was on about doing a triathlon at Ribby Hall, which is right near us. And he's been very kind of derogatory about our neck of the woods. Like, oh, do you think they'll let me come and do it? Will they let me do a triathlon, being from Fleetwood? They'd point out to him that he should probably keep quiet about that, because if they find out that he's got gills and webbed feet, he's probably not going to be allowed to do the swimming.
Well, we'll run the Fleetwood 10k with him.
Exactly.
So to the seagulls and the fishermen
and the locals, yeah. So we can chip in and do some stuff like that. Anyway, I mean, danger of being sidetracked. It was very rewarding, and I actually got off the bike on Sunday afternoon with a tremendous sense of pride in myself, but also gratitude to the people that have donated towards what is a wonderful cause and one that grows ever closer to my heart. So thank you very much for everyone who supported and chipped in.
So it's justgiving.com/Super League Pod stands up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Who's been getting in touch with? In fact, how's your weekend been? I've not really talked to you.
Good point. Well, I went to the Bradford game.
Yes, you did.
So we'll probably talk about that in the review, shall we? Save it for then. But I got to spend the afternoon with Alan Cale,
yes.
One of our sort of early first year kind of.
He's certainly in the conversation when you talk about foundation listening, isn't he?
Yeah, he was trying to remember how he actually got on to the show. He says he must have seen something on Twitter. He didn't listen to the first episode the first time around, but he did. He was involved from early doors, giving us feedback and that sort of stuff. But it was really cool to meet him in person. It was the best way to describe it, I suppose, is kind of like going on a date with someone you've like worked with.
This is not the best way to describe it. Let me stop you there. I don't know where you're going.
Or like. So someone that you should know because you've known for a number of years,
right? But
you don't. There's basic things about each other that you don't necessarily know that well because your interaction's got a purpose almost.
Yeah, and you've got time to think about what you say to each other over Twitter and stuff. Whereas face to face and in 3 dimensions.
So it was really cool to spend time talking to him and stuff. And actually, we've got a lot in common and that sort of stuff.
Brilliant.
Which was really nice.
You were definitely the right half of the podcast to go and meet Al then.
Well, I'd more than be happy to meet you as well, Thomas.
I'm certain.
But yeah, it was like meeting someone who you've known for a long time, but taking the relationship to a new place. Kind of like, do you remember last year when I talked about how I went to Perth and spent an evening with Mike Donnelly, who I've been friends with for years, but through an internet-based relationship, mostly.
Right.
And then to actually spend some solid time in his company was really great. Exactly the same situation with Alan. It was really good.
Awesome. Well, we'll touch more on that when we get through to the championship games. Who's been getting in touch with us this week, Mark?
Well, you missed out on a professional segue by asking me about my week.
I did, but I didn't want to gloss over. Like, well, fuck whatever you did. Let's talk about me some more.
What you did was big stuff, and we've had some feedback on that we'll start off with straight away. So, Alfie Garner at Alfie Wolf, he said superseding all rugby league games this week was the Tom fella who stood up to the plate / pedals and bust his balls for charity.
Thank you, Darren. Darren was immense on Sunday in terms of motivating me and tweeting and retweeting and sending. And to be honest, I didn't look on my own personal Twitter. I was doing a lot with the podcast one, and then went back on Sunday night to look at my own Twitter feed, because I sometimes forget about that. There were bits and pieces on there from Darren that he sent to me personally, like a little video of him on a bike at the same time as I was and stuff like that. So, big up, Darren. Thank you very much indeed. It was much appreciated and came in very handy.
Paul Ludo Lewis, he said, well done, Tom, on your brilliant bike ride on Sunday. Full on reach around from me here. Top work, mate. That's bringing back an old
We've not had the podcast reach around hasn't happened for a while, has it?
Although I think you missed a trick by not doing part of it as the now infamous walking meme, the Cronulla shark.
I know. That is being posted next week to Dom Hodgson. It's been laundered and hung up to dry. Isn't
How's the shoes? How's the feet?
The shoes have come clean. Look, he paid less than half price for it, so I'm not, panicking about the calibre. The suit itself is impeccable. It's come out really well. And the tops of the shoes that go over, the bits that would go over your shoes, they're clean as well. There is some light wear and tear to the soles.
You mean holes?
There is some light use to the soles, but it's cleaned up lovely. And he's paid less than half price for a very, very functioning Katie Perry left shark suit. So don't worry, Dom, I've not forgotten you. That is folded up, ready to get posted out next week once I get organised with figuring out whether or not I'm going to post it through work.
Well, a bit more from Paul and a bit more on the shark. He said, did I hear right that Tom walked home 6 miles last Sunday dressed as a shark? If so, then close the SLP Hero of the Year award now, as it's already been won.
I don't know if I said this last week, but nobody will stop to pick up a hitchhiking shark. It's even if you take your head off.
I think we had it in our conversation, but because we had you played out, I didn't do an Easter egg.
No, that's it. It was... It was quite something, Ludo, but it stood me in good stead for the weekend's exertions the following week.
Did you catch the Wigan players recap of the game?
I did. Someone tagged me into it. It might even have been you, but that was quite funny. Yeah. Was it Gildart and Sam Powell?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
See, there you go. I'm known.
Gave you plenty of credit.
That's it. But
and then
Dom's going to get all the credit now.
On the screenshot on the headline bit that they used for it on the Super League website, it's like the enticing in for it. It had you with like them in the top corner, because they were like talking over it, but it had you stood up as like the draw card.
I like to think
for what the commentary was going to be like from the two lads.
I like to think that last week when Barry Mack turned up ready to do his work on Sky, he'll have dropped it in a conversation that he knows who that guy is. Hey lads, get Terry O'Connor and Phil around and say I know him, met him, got my picture taken with him. I reckon that's what happened to you.
I'm sure it did. He certainly got in touch later on, so we'll rattle through.
Excellent. Who is P&M Hughes?
Well, P&M Hughes
Who are P&M Hughes?
Yeah, it must be more than one person, but the guy got in touch. He said, "Love your show, new listener and fairly new fan of League of only 3 years. Gets me through the workday once a week. Thumbs up." And then I had a bit more of an extended chat with him. It turns out that he has got every reason in the world to be a Salford Red Devils fan, but he actually supports the Leeds Rhinos.
Right.
But we'll let him off for that because, any fan to the sport is a bonus as far as we're concerned.
Absolutely.
He also is... has strong links to Toronto. He actually went on his honeymoon to Toronto as well. That's what P&M did.
I TLDR'd it at this point when he started talking about honeymoon. I was like, right, there we go.
So we had a bit of back and forth about that, and that's So cool. Nice to have you on board, and keep getting in touch with your Leeds Rhinos match review.
Do we know if it's P or M? Who is it?
Pretty sure it's P.
P. Well, thank you, P.
Yeah. Paul or P. Do you know what? It was early on in the week.
Yeah, it was early.
It was Tuesday night, maybe.
But it's always wonderful to hear from new listeners. Absolutely.
Alan Walker got in touch, and I think he's dropped something in here that I don't know if I knew. So he said, "World-class ep from the guys that look like tuna and sound like frogs. The ep is so hot on World Club Challenge Glory, it set my bus on fire." Did he drive a bus around Barcelona?
Oh, I hope so. With the windows open.
I'm gonna be
with
using
the Mediterranean breeze blowing his white locks like Gandalf the Grey.
Forget the metro system next time. I'm on the buses trying to get my boy to give us a ride.
Probably not. It's probably just Al being, like I say, I love Al. I don't know what the guys that look like tuna and sound like frogs means though.
Well, because you look like a fish.
Of course.
And because we had croaky voices.
Thanks. See, this is why we need to work together on Alan's tweets to
I got it straight away. It's just you.
I was like, fuck you, Alan. I look like a fucking tuna. What's it about? Always wanted to hear from Alan, yeah.
Okay, at Mitchell Darts, trivia update time. He said he got 5 out of 8 in the trivia. Had to cheat to find out the answer to the last question. Was driving me nuts for 20 minutes.
There you go.
Ethan O'Gorman got in touch. He said, "Is the trivia question answer Nick Graham?"
Right.
Given that Ethan would have been about 3 or 4 when Nick Graham finished his playing career. That's
good thoughts.
It's good knowledge or good
research.
Investigation. Either way, it's good work by the young man.
That's good research.
Colin Render, he said, when will Tom get to quiz Mark on the trivia segment? Seems harsh to torment Tom every week. I only mentioned it as I think they'd be easier from Tom. Mark puts in 2 million NRL questions and I don't